nothing can break me.
Hi guys, welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're brand new then thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you'd like to stick around and join us in all of our adventures. You can do that by hitting the little subscribe button, it's just down there. If you do hit the subscribe button then please make sure to turn the notification bell as well, and then you'll be notified every single time that we post. So it's just me today, and that's because today is about Goodreads. It's my reading wrap up, or like my year in review on Goodreads. I've made a list of things I want to talk about. I think I did this video last year and I find it a really good way to see like what my moods were, how good I was at reading, if I reached my goals, those kind of things. So I've pulled up my year in review on my phone, which has a cool space case at the moment. It's just from Amazon. But so for 2021, I set my reading goal at 25 books. I'm not the biggest, like I love reading and I feel like I read all the time, and then I go onto YouTube and people are reading like hundreds of books a year and I'm just maybe not a speedy reader. So I set my goal at 25, which seemed achievable for me. I actually read 37 books this year, so I'm super happy with myself. So I'm going to see if I can take screenshots. Maybe I will screen record actually. Let's do that and I'll put it up here. Okay, so this year, let's start with how many books I read. I read 37 books and 12,614 pages. So the books I tend to choose are on the chunkier side normally, so I think that might be why I get through less books than a lot of other people, and also I might just be a slow reader and I feel like that's okay too, because I've really enjoyed a lot of the books that I've read this year. So okay, let's move on to the next section. Okay, so the shortest book that I read was The Dawn Chorus. I believe that was a little insert book, like a novella, to the Bone season. And the longest book was The Lord of Shadows at 699 pages. I've been reading through, I feel like everybody has been reading the Shadowhunters, but I started on the Shadowhunters and I've moved on to the Dark Artifices, the Lord of, Queen of, those ones. These ones just here. So yeah, 699, and that's like a chunky book, right? So I think I read a couple of them this year. My average book length was 340 pages. I suppose when you've got like the shortest book at 78, it's going to be averaging out, but I feel like that's pretty good. I'm just going to keep saying I feel like that's pretty good. The most popular, this is what I found was really interesting actually. So the most popular book that I read this year, so that other people also were reading, was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Beep. And the least popular was Raise Your Vibes. Raise Your Vibes was one that I read from NetGalley, so it makes sense that it hasn't had tons and tons of people reading it, but it was only 38 people have shelved it, and I actually liked it, I think. So yeah, that was just really interesting to me, because sometimes you stumble across books that you really like that nobody else has heard of, and I think that can be because like lots of the same books kind of get recommended often on like TikTok and on YouTube. So it's always nice when you find a book that you've loved that nobody else has kind of read, because then you can tell people, read that book, it's good. My average rating for the year was low, and that is 3.2. I feel like I've had like better years than this, and this one is quite low, but I'm also not really a high rater, so I think something has to be like absolutely amazing for me to rate it a 5, and then a 4 is like just below that, so a 3 is pretty good, to be honest. So the book that I read that has the highest rating on Goodreads was Lord of Shadows, and that's got an average rating of 4.42 on Goodreads, and it is good, to be fair. You should read it if you liked kind of the Shadowhunter series, and this series is a good carry-on one. I also want to go back and read the there's some like prequel-y ones, isn't there? I know it's its own series, but I want to read those, like about when like Magnus was young, so I'd like to read those. My first book of the year was To Kill a Kingdom, which was a Little Mermaid retelling. That was really good. I actually rated that 4 stars, but it was really good. And then this bit here, if you can see, if I am able to screen share, is all the books that I read this year, so I don't know if it's in order. I reread Shatter Me. I know that people either really love or really hate Shatter Me, but I really love it. This will be the second time I've read it, and the rest of the books are on my TBR for the new year. The Program I really liked. The House of Hollow I really like. That's this one here. Oh, and I've been carrying on with the Thunderhead. So my last review of the year was Shatter Me, but I don't very often write a review. I normally just rate it for myself. There's so many people that know how to articulate what a book is saying really, really well that I feel like you don't need me. Let me go and see if I can find the other statistics as well. So we've moved just a little bit because I wasn't able to get the rest of the statistics up on my phone. So my big computer is just here. So like I said, 2021 I read 37 books. 2020, 24, 2019, 27, 2018, 19. In 2015, for some reason, I read 73 books. But let's just move on to pages. Again, so this year, other than 2015, which I don't really remember what happened, I obviously just read for the entire year. This has been my best year for pages. I actually read 12,614 pages this year compared to 7,220 last year. Moving on to publication date, all of my books that I've read, except for one. Okay, so all of the books that I've ever read, except for one, for the entire time that I've been logging on Goodreads, so since 2015, have been published after 2000. So I really would like to start reading some more that were published pre-2000. But this year, so the graph, I don't know if I can screenshot it. If I can, I'll insert it and it'll make more sense. But I just kind of, as the years go on, I'm reading basically mostly new releases and then a few that are on my TBR that are a lot older. The one book that I read in 2020, so going back, that was older, was published in 1906 and it was Mr. Pickwick's Christmas. So hopefully next year, in next year's wrap up, there'll be some that are older, some classics and things like that. But yeah, it's interesting to see where my trend lies, that it's all kind of newer books. So books over time is where I'm really interested in. See which months I was good at reading. So my worst months were May, November and December. I started a real chunky book in December. I'm reading the new A Court of Silver Flames I'm reading at the moment, and I really wanted to get it finished by the end of the year, but I'm only halfway through, so I'll have to start that in 2022. That's going to be the first book I finish, hopefully. Again, November and May, I only read one book. And then in my best months were October and August, and I read 6 books those months. So I'm not really sure what the difference is. I honestly think it is about the length of the book, and like when you start a really chunky book, I think after that I need a break, which is interesting. So hopefully I can kind of more average that out in the next year. And then pages over time, my best months were October and August, and my worst month was November. I only read 373 pages in November and 532 in February. So yeah, that's my kind of statistics for 2021. I always find it really interesting to see how other people are reading. Like, I like seeing what people are reading, but also like the trends of how people are reading as well. And it gives me an idea on kind of what to set my goal at for next year. So I'm actually going to set my goal at 30, maybe 40. Let's set it at 40. Try and get through 40 books in 2022, which is, it'll be my like biggest reading year since 2015, which obviously I just read all the time. So I'm going to set it at 40, which is really, really high. So I'm now instantly regretting. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it at 40 books, and hopefully I'm going to get in some older books so I've got a little bit more variety. Yeah, let me know down in the comments what your reading goal is for 2022. I'd love to know. And your favourite reading genre as well. Or if you've got any books to recommend, let me know, because I always love getting recommendations. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.